everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Huck. Today we are doing a book haul. It has been a little while since I've done a book haul. I think the last one that I did was like mid-December before the holidays, and it is now the beginning of March when I'm filming this, so it's been a couple months. And I have a little stack of books here. I actually haven't been buying a ton of books recently. Like, I have, I think, 16 things to talk about. 9 of them are actual books and 7 of them are more like graphic novels or manga. But I feel like for, what is that, like 3 months, 2.5 months, that's not that many books. I haven't been buying too many, which is good. I'm glad that I'm not like over like stockpiling books. I'm trying to read more from my shelves, although I have also been getting a lot of books from like Libby and Scribd and stuff, so not everything I've been reading has been from my shelves, but that's beside the point. We're here to do a book haul. All right, let's get started with recent releases. First up, I have Lost in the Moment and Found by Shauna Maguire. This is the 8th book, I think, in the Wayward Children series of novellas that are about kids who go to magical portal worlds that are perfectly suited to them because they are often children who are running away from something or who feel like they don't fit in with our world in some way, and so they find a place that feels like home. They inevitably end up back in our world, and that's why they end up at the Home for Wayward Children. In this series, every other book is following a like storyline that involves the Home for Wayward Children, and every other book is following a character in their magical world. Often it's a character that we have met at some other point in the story. This is one of the ones that is following a character in a magical world, and it is a character named Antoinette, or Ancy, who we met, I think, in the last book. But she ends up in a world for, in a, like the shop for lost things. It's sort of this nexus portal between all of these other worlds, that anything that is lost, which is either, whether material or metaphorical, ends up at this shop for lost things. So she ends up there too, and then discovers that there may be a higher price for the magic than she originally anticipated. And it's a lot about the loss of childhood and innocence. I'd say also for this one, definitely look up content warnings for it. There is a note from the author in the front, but this one is definitely heavier than some of the previous books in the series. Although all of the characters are running away from difficult things in their lives, this one's a little bit heavier than some of the others. I have already read this, and I read it in January, so my January wrap-up is already up. So I'll link that in the description if you want to hear my thoughts on this one. Then I also picked up The Terraformers by Annalee Newitz. This is a sci-fi, I think it's a standalone sci-fi. I have heard, it says that it is for fans of Becky Chambers, which I have kind of a mixed experience with Becky Chambers. I love her Monk and Robot series. I'm not so into the Wayfarer series, so we'll see how I get along with this, but it seems like, I think this would fall into the hope punk subgenre, which is a subgenre I'm very interested in sci-fi. So I'm very interested in this one. I think that it has, themes around like eco-responsibility, but it also seems like it's going to be kind of goofy. Like, I think there's someone who is a pet moose or something. I don't really know, but I am hoping to get to this one soon, along with my like plan to read more sci-fi this year. I think maybe this would be a fun one to get to. And then my last most recent release I just got the other day, which is very exciting, is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. I actually don't know, is it pronounced Amina or Amina, because I feel like I've seen everyone pronouncing it Amina, but I used to know somebody who had who spelled their name the same way, and she pronounced it Amina, so I'm not really sure. And I can't find an interview with S.A. Chakraborty where she like says the title of the book or the character's name. If you know of an interview where she says the character's name, I would love to know, because I don't know if I should be saying Amina or Amina. But Anyways, this I'm very excited about because last year I finished reading the Devabad trilogy and I loved it, and I'm just really excited to have something new coming out from S.A. Chakraborty. This is, I saw it originally pitched as Sinbad the Sailor meets Ocean's 11, which just sounds great. I think it is about like a lady pirate sailor who is going to retire but then gets pulled into one last adventure. So very excited about that. Although my copy is a little bit wonky. I don't know if you'll be able to tell this, but like, I don't know if you can see that it's like slanted. It's narrower at the top and then wider at the bottom. So it just is like an kind of an awkward shape, but that's all right. I'm probably actually going to listen to the audiobook anyway, so it won't be a problem. Okay, so those are the recent releases that I got. Since I have not done a haul since mid-December, I haven't told you about the books that I got for Hanukkah. So I have a couple of books here that I'll tell you right now. These are the ones that were gifts. So first up, I have Chalice by Robin McKinley. This is from Kara, so thank you very much, Kara, for this. This is, actually, I have no idea what this book is about. I just realized. Usually, sometimes I prep for these more than this time, but this time I just was like, we're just going in and hoping I remember what things are about. But Robin McKinley is an author that I have tried things from before, and I haven't loved them, but I want to give her books another try. I'm considering doing one of those, like, do I like this author type of vlogs with Robin McKinley, and so it's really, it'll be great to have this book. This is one of the ones that I had been meaning to read and wanted to include in that vlog, particularly because Kara said that she thought I might like this one better than some of the other ones that I have tried. So thank you for this. I'm very excited to have it. Then I also have a nonfiction book that my brother gave me, which is Four Queens, the Sisters Who Ruled Europe, by Nancy Goldstone. So I don't know too much about this, but I believe it is about four sisters who all became queens and were very influential in history because of that like position that they held. Other than that, I don't know that much. I just know that my brother loves history and historical fiction and historical nonfiction, and he read this recently and just loved it. Apparently he's been trying to convince everyone he knows to read it. And he thought I would like it because he knows that I do like historical fiction about women in history, and I like stories with sisters in them. And he said that it is nonfiction, but it is written so well that, or it is written so much like a narrative that it feels like historical fiction. It feels like you're reading a story, not like a dry nonfiction. So I'm really interested to see how this goes because I don't normally read a lot of historical nonfiction. Like, I can't even remember the last time I read a historical nonfiction, but I'm gonna give it a try. He was like so excited about it that I'm very intrigued. And then I have a couple of books that I picked out because every year for Hanukkah, my family does a book night where my parents give us Barnes & Noble gift cards, and then we all go to Barnes & Noble and like pick out books and stuff. So I picked these out, but these are a gift from my parents for Hanukkah. So we'll start with this one. This is The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper. I have been hearing some good things about this recently and just decided, like, you know what, I want to give this a try because some people who have similar reading tastes to me have really liked this. This is historical fiction about women who have been forced to work in a brothel in Pompeii. It's not going to be a light read, but I've just heard that it's really great and I'm really interested to try something from this author. I haven't seen a lot of books that are about Pompeii as a setting, so I think that's kind of interesting. And also, I'm pretty sure that this author is going to be coming out with a book about she's starting a new series that is about Boudica's daughter, and that is also very interesting to me because I have been reading the Boudica series by Amanda Scott. I would be interested in trying that, but I wanted to read this one first. They're not connected, obviously, so it's not like I have to read one before the other, but this whole series is out already, so I wanted to start here, and I've heard great things, so I want to try it out. Next up, this one is like, I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but I want to give it a try, which is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. John Gwynne is an author, like his series that I'm most off, that I like originally saw people talking about, because I think it's his first series, is it The Faithful and the Fallen? Is that what it's called? The first one is called Malice. That one has never really piqued my interest. I'm just not sure it's the type of fantasy I normally read, but for some reason this one, which is his newest series, has just sounded kind of interesting to me. I know you're following multiple characters, but one of them is this woman whose name, I think, is it Orna or Orca or something like that, who sounds like she's a warrior woman, and she's a mother, and she like very like fiercely defends, she's like, seems like a very practical person who very fiercely defends her family, which just sounds like the type of character I would enjoy following. It's in a very like Norse Viking inspired world, which is interesting to me. I don't know, I am not sure how this one is going to go, because I feel like John Gwynne, like people who are fans of his books often kind of fall into a different, they don't often always have the same reading taste that I do. Not that there's no overlap, but it's not one of those books where I'm like, oh, there's so much like reader overlap, you know, that it really makes sense to me. I feel like a lot of his fans tend to have kind of a different reading taste from me. But we'll see. I'm excited to give it a try. And then the last one that I picked up, I honestly don't remember anything about it because this was very much an impulse buy. But I picked up Revelator. Oh, this got dusty. By Daryl Gregory. I truly don't remember why I picked this up. I think that it was maybe because it was sort of like a Southern Gothic horror, I think. And I think that I was like interested in it because I was like, oh, maybe I like Gothic horror, because I had read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, and obviously this seems very different from that. But I don't know. I don't really know what the thought process was here. I feel like this haul, I have a couple of books that are like, why did I buy this? But I'm still, you know, I'll give it a try. But here, let's see. We'll just read the description together. It says, it is set in 1933. 9-year-old Stella is left in the care of her grandmother, Maudie, in the backwoods of Tennessee. These remote hills of the Smoky Mountains are home to dangerous secrets, and soon after she arrives, Stella wanders into a dark cavern where she encounters the family's personal god, an entity known as the Ghost Daddy. Okay. I was with you for the family's personal god. I'm not so sure about Ghost Daddy as a name for it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so those are all the books that I had as gifts. Then I have a couple, so actually I have another nonfiction book, which I got. All of these are very like dusty. I got Bittersweet, How Sorrow and Longing Make Us Whole by Susan Cain. I am about 40% of the way into this. I've kind of paused it for now. I have some mixed feelings about it, but I think it's an interesting concept. I'm just not sure I'm loving the execution of it, but this isn't a review. I picked this book up. This is a book haul, so I bought that. All right, then we have some graphic novels that I picked up. So, graphic novels, I picked up Yvain by M.T. Anderson. This is really just a graphic novelization of the story of Yvain. It's not a retelling that like changes things very much. Yvain was one of King Arthur's knights, so as far as I can tell, it sticks pretty close to the original story. I wasn't really familiar with the story before reading this, so I'm not 100% sure how close it is, but it seems like it doesn't deviate a whole lot. I'm not sure if this video is going up before or after my February wrap-up, but if I've already posted my February wrap-up, I'll link it in the description because I read this in February. If not, it's coming soon. Likewise, I also picked up volumes 1 and 2 of Sleepless by Sarah Vaughan and Layla Del Duca and Alison Salah and Darren Bennett. So this is sort of a medieval fantasy graphic novel duology. I think there were only 2 volumes because it seems like the story has ended. which is kind of disappointing because I wish there was more to it. I really enjoyed these. Again, this is not a book haul. I mean, not a book review. This is a haul. But I love the artwork of this. The artwork is just as beautiful on the inside as it is on the cover, which is something that I always appreciated because I hate it when graphic novels have like beautiful cover art and then the art on the inside is ugly. So I appreciate that about this. But this will also be in my February wrap up. All right, and then on to the graphic novels that I have not read yet. Well, these are actually manga, but I got Witch Hat Atelier volumes 1 and volume 2. These I just have been seeing around a lot recently. I have seen these pitched as kind of like they give like a Studio Ghibli Kiki's Delivery Service kind of vibe, which sounds very fun. And then I have the two that are also ones that these were sort of impulse buys and ones that I forgot I had ordered and then they came and I was like, why? I just hit my tripod. And I was like, why did I buy these? I don't know. I feel like I just have a couple of things this time around where I'm like, I don't remember why I bought this. But as far as impulse buys go, this isn't the worst I could have done. Anyways, so the first one is Sarah and the Royal Stars, which has a cool cover. It says, Civil War rages in the Empire of Parsa and famine has struck. All the seasons refuse to turn. Princess Sarah receives a vision from the deity Mitra, telling her to find the royal stars and restore them to the heavens. And then the other one that I picked up this is the one I was most confused by why I bought this, which is Kill 6 Billion Demons. I'm not really sure why I got this, but we'll see. It says, post-grad Allison Ruth has a problem. More specifically, her boyfriend has been kidnapped by dimension-hopping knights. A dying warrior has imbued her with a great and ancient power, and she herself has been whisked away to Throne, the city at the center of all worlds. I don't know. Like, they don't sound bad. I'm just not sure why. Like, they weren't necessarily ones that I had real reasoning or thought process behind buying, and I forgot that I had bought them. Anyways, that is the end of my book haul. Yeah, I feel like I haven't been buying as many books so far, but I do feel like a book buying mood is about to hit me, so my future hauls might be a little bit bigger because I do feel like I'm really in the mood to buy books. And I might have to rein myself in. Anyways, I would love to know if you've read any of these, if there's anything that you would recommend that I start with, or anything that you want to know my thoughts on. Just love to know what you're excited about. But thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye!